A lot of people maybe don't know this, but there is a war going on in Italy right now.
Like always.
It is a food war. Specifically, it is a pizza war. And perhaps the biggest, what would you call them, belligerents are Rome and Naples. Now, Neapolitan pizza is, of course, super famous, and we will openly declare that it is our favorite pizza. We're very much Team Naples. However, Romans have their own pizza, and they very adamantly defend it. My dad, for instance, he's lived in Rome for years now, and he has been fully incorporated into the Roman cult, and he will not even touch Neapolitan pizza.
The Roman pizza that we are talking now is the pizza that you find in a pizzeria, in a normal pizzeria in Roma. Is the round pizza, is very thin, it resembles almost a cracker with just some tomato sauce on top. They spread with the rolling pin, so it's the nightmare of pizza.
Now, we're not here to judge whether you like Roman pizza or Neapolitan pizza. Well, maybe Ava will judge it a little bit, but
going to say.
To each their own. Thing is, I'm pretty sure that even if someone put a gun to Ava's head, she would not cook Roman pizza. However, the cool thing about Rome is that they actually have a bunch of different pizza variations. And we're here today to explore one of them.
This other style of Roman pizza is not that just I like it, but when I was living in Rome, actually I was living on it because I had a piece of it at least once a day.
The interesting thing about this pizza for home cooks, and it might be appealing for many people, is that, as we've said on the channel before, really mastering and making good Neapolitan pizza can be pretty difficult. Seeing this pizza being made before, my understanding is that it's on paper more complicated than Neapolitan pizza, but it's easier. So anyway, without further ado, it's time for Ava to cook some Roman pizza.
What we are going to do today in Italy is called pizza rossa alla romana da panificio. Now, pizza rossa means red pizza, which means pizza just with tomato sauce. So we are not going to use any cheese, we are not going to use any vegetable or pepperoni or any meat. Nothing, just a simple tomato sauce. It's very important that the sauce can have the time to develop all the flavor possible, which means that it's better to prepare it the day before. This pizza requires a very, even tomato sauce, which means that you can use tomato puree, or as I'm doing now, you can use also whole peeled tomatoes. What you need to do is that you need to blend your whole peeled tomatoes. I season the tomato puree with olive oil, and be sure that is a good olive oil, salt, and some dried, very good oregano. It's very important that you taste your tomato sauce to understand if maybe you need a little bit more salt, because there is nothing worse than a tomato sauce that doesn't taste and is not flavorful. You see? I'm going to put this in the fridge so it can sit as much long as possible, and we can start to make the dough.
Well, this definitely isn't Neapolitan pizza dough because you got, what is that, milk?
See,
Milk.
here I'm going to use a Manitoba flour or a very high gluten flour. If you don't know what this means, go and check our video where we explain everything about flours.
Put a link up here.
Harper will put here. The dough for this pizza requires two steps. The first one is what we call more or less autolysis. The second step is actually making the dough. But we start from this, which means that we need all the flour plus a little bit of water and all the milk required in the recipe. We put everything here. We need to wet all the flour. We don't really need the dough at this stage. We need just to wet actually all the flour. What we are looking for is something like that.
Very crumbly, rough dough, huh?
See, we want should be the result, because this is the first step in which the gluten can start to develop. So what we need to do now is cover it with plastic paper and let it rest for 2 hours at room temperature.
While the dough rests, I'd like to tell you about today's video sponsor, Mary Ruth's. They're offering pasta grammarians a pretty sweet deal. If you click the link down in the description below and use our code PASTAGRAMMAR, you'll get 20% off your order. You see, if you like to eat pizza every day, like Ava used to in Rome, it's a good idea to make sure you're still staying healthy, getting that daily dose of vitamins. I don't know about you, but I've always hated taking a bunch of like pills, supplements, and vitamins every day. That's why I like taking Mary Ruth's Liquid Morning Multivitamin. It is raspberry flavored. I love raspberry flavor, which motivates me to take it every morning. It's delicious. Ava, on the other hand, prefers her peach mango flavored multivitamin. Now, she says that she takes this because it is clinically shown to support healthy skin. However, I suspect that she is secretly taking it because it is also clinically shown to help grow thicker, fuller hair. Luckily, she's not aware yet about Hair Growth Max from Mary Ruth's. And we both enjoy every evening taking the liquid nighttime multivitamin. It is coconut dream flavored, very delicious, and it is designed to support sleep, relaxation, bone health, and overall wellness. If you want to kickstart your wellness journey in 2025, then visit one of the 2 links down in the description below. That's right, you can get 20% off whether you order directly from Mary Ruth's or from Amazon. Use our code PASTAGRAMMAR. You'll get 20% off your entire order. A big thank you to Mary Ruth's for sponsoring today's video.
So after 2 hours, our first dough should look like that.
The same.
The same, but the touch is completely different.
Yeah, it looks softer.
Because before it was very, very stiff. So what we need to do now is making the real dough. So we start to incorporate this, and actually we break it a little bit so it will be a little bit easier. Then we add the yeast, the other water, and we add also these ingredients. Now this is the aesthetic malt powder, which means malto di astico, di estatico in Italian. I don't know how it's called. Now, if you can find this, you can also use the syrup version, or you can use also a teaspoon of honey. What this does is give more food, more sugar to the enzyme of the yeast, so you have a better rice, a better crust. And then we are going to use this friend of mine because this pizza dough is a little bit more hard to work by hand. I'm not saying that you can't do, but it will take long time. While with this we speed up the process. After all the water is incorporated in the
Dough.
We can add the salt, and we make our friend work. And now the olive oil. The dough is done when the oil is completely incorporated. We oil a little bit our cutting board surface. We transfer the dough here, and what we need to do is folding it because we need to give more strength to our dough. As you can see, the dough is very soft, and it's also very smooth. And now we cover it with the same bowl and we let it rest at room temperature for an hour.
1 hour later.
now is the moment in which we need to transfer the dough into the fridge and forget it for about 16, 18, 20 hours. After the 18 hours that our dough was sleeping in the fridge is the moment in which you need to take out of the fridge and let it rise in a warm place for about 4 hours. This is how your dough should look after 4 hours of proofing. A little bit of olive oil on my cutting board, so the dough shouldn't stick. A cloud.
Ooh.
I know, it's just a cloud, as I said. Now, what we can do is divide this dough in two. We need to close it very, very gentle because we need all the bubbles that the dough has.
So you're kind of rolling it up?
See, something like that. So we sprinkle some olive oil on a baking tray so our dough always doesn't stick. And we place it here. Same with the others. Okay, now if the bubble is so big, maybe yes, bake it. And we let them rest for about 20-30 minutes. This pizza needs to be cooked in a baking tray that is hot. That's why I'm going to preheat this baking tray in the oven at 485 degrees Fahrenheit, which should be around 250 degrees Celsius, for at least 30 minutes. So it's the moment to give a shape to our pizza dough. And the first step is using semolina flour. And we start from the edges to spread our dough.
Oh, not from the center?
No, from the edges.
Everything I thought I knew about pizza.
And
It's
this
being
is
turned
different.
upside down.
It's a different style. And as you can see, this dough is pretty easy to spread because it's very, very relaxed. You do the same with this. So the next step needs to happen very, very fast because we are dealing with a hot pan. And what we are going to do is place our pizza on the hot pan and season it very quickly. And we need to do this quickly because the pan is hot and is cooking the dough in that moment.
And be careful.
And be careful because it's hot, yes, obviously. For the first 10 minutes, we place the pizza at the bottom rack. Then we will take it out and we let it rest out of the oven for 5 minutes. This is another important stage because we need to place our pizza on, how do you call this?
A wire rack.
We will give time to the humidity to just goes away.
This is definitely unlike any other pizza.
I know. Well, this is the way in which it's made. After the 5 minutes, we place them back in the pan. We drizzle some olive oil and then we bake it again for 5 minutes on medium rack.
Roman pizza. This was probably Cicero's favorite pizza.
For sure, not just Cicero, Giulio Cesare.
No, they were enemies.
Augusto.
Julius Caesar was a Neapolitan pizza fan, and Cicero was a Roman pizza fan, and that's why they didn't really get
And
along.
what about Augusto?
He was into like Sicilian pizza, like sfincione.
And what about Nerone? Because everyone knows that Nerone liked the pizza very well cooked.
Yes, burnt. Okay, pizza rossa, red pizza. I wonder why they call it that. I just realized, how should I cut this? I'm used to you get basically like something like this and you eat it like in the street. Here we're sharing.
You can cut in slices, you can cut in pieces.
All right. Ooh, I can feel the crunch. That's part of the point of this pizza, right?
See, because if you look at the bottom of the pizza,
Oh yeah.
is well cooked in the right way, not in the Nerone style.
Not in the Nero style. And I imagine that part of the reason why you like cook the pizza and then take it out to let it dry out and then
Is to
recook
make
it
it
is to
more
get
crunch.
that crunch. Yeah. All right.
So, Harper,
Buon appetito.
It's the same.
The same?
It's the same. I'm having the same experience that I had back in Rome when I was living there, and for lunch I grabbed a slice of pizza from a panificio. It tastes exactly the same.
I think a lot of people who haven't tried it would be skeptical of pizza with just tomato sauce. Obviously, most of us are used to pizza with at least cheese on top, but there's something so good and simple about it. I mean, if you've ever had just a piece of bread dipped in a really good homemade tomato sauce, you know that it's one of the best things that you can eat in your life. And this is like the pizza equivalent of that.
It's so good, so flavorful, that actually if you put like cheese, you will ruin it.
Yeah, it becomes its own thing. Not that cheese on pizza is bad, but once you put cheese on pizza, it definitely will not be this. It's much more kind of street foody. You wouldn't go to Naples and order, they do have pizza portafolio. That's a whole other different thing. We should talk about that at some point. But a normal Neapolitan pizza, you go to a restaurant and you sit down. It's not something you can carry in the street and eat. But this is something where you'll just go into like a bakery in Rome and you'll get one of these. And compared to Neapolitan pizza, this is much better even after it's cooled down. If it's at like room temperature, it's still really good. Part of that is because there's no cheese, so you don't really miss that hot melted.
Absolutely, you can do this in the morning, and actually a lot of panifici, it's not that they do pizza every 5 minutes. So they do the big batch in the morning, and then they keep this during the day. You just reheat a little bit, and it's good and amazing as it is made fresh.
I would like to eat this more often. I forgot how good this is.
Don't tell me, I lived 5 years on this.
Should we split this last piece?
We need I'm not
We
good.
do have a second one,
See.
which as we just said is pretty good even after it's cooled down, so I'm not that concerned with it, but I do want to eat this piece. There are lots of other pizza variations we could do. Let us know if you guys want to see some more pizza variations from throughout Italy.
For us, it's okay.
We're happy to oblige. I guess we'll make more pizza videos, I guess.
Because his favorite food in all the world is...
Pizza.
What's my favorite food in all the world?
Pizza.
So we are very happy to shoot a lot of videos on pizza.
Before we go, a quick shout out to a pasta grammarian in action. Robin made capugliato siciliano. Boy, how do I describe capugliato?
It's an hidden gem of the Sicilian food that makes everything better. When you lack in flavor on one of your dish, put a spoonful of capugliato siciliano, and the flavor of the dish will be elevated in 2 seconds.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time.
Ciao. So Harper, the other one, we can leave and save for this evening. So we. No,
it's not lasting till this evening. I'm sorry.
Harper, don't go. I need also the
It's
other.
not lasting till this evening.